May the words of my mouth and the meditations of all of our hearts be acceptable to you, Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. When I was much younger, I had a video game called Bible Adventures. This isn't the first time I've preached about it. One of the 3 games included in Bible Adventures, alongside Moses and Noah's Ark, was David and Goliath. As a young boy, I thought this would definitely be the most fun of the 3 games. It would involve fighting and battle and a giant. But the game was all too true to the biblical text. As David, you had to spend the first few levels protecting sheep and keeping them in the sheepfold. You would run away from or chase the lions, and it was just level after level of sheep. Finally, you got to the real part of the game, Goliath. Well, almost. You had to deal with his shield bearer first. I told you this game was really close to the text. Then came the giant, Goliath. All the excitement building up to this one moment. Just like David, you grab a stone, you sling it at Goliath, and the battle's over. He's dead, just like that. All that buildup, it's just over. The game had to add all those extra levels beforehand just because it was too simple. It wouldn't have been exciting at all. Things just fell into place almost effortlessly. Is that how things work for you? You face big challenges in your life, and there's a long period of buildup and tension, and then poof, solved. No major exertion, all that fuss for nothing. It must be a God thing. Does it happen like that for you? Me neither. Nobody who was at that battle thought it would be easy. Everyone was paralyzed with fear. Goliath tormented the whole army of the Israelites for days. David's older brothers were there, and they didn't want to fight. Even King Saul stayed away from fighting Goliath. We know Saul was a full head taller than everybody else, but that was still a far cry from 6 cubits and a span, or almost 9 feet 9 inches. So why does Saul let David go? Is it because he trusted God would protect him? Absolutely not. If Saul trusted in God, then as Israel's anointed king, he would have faced Goliath himself. Did he think David would win? Maybe. But mostly he was just out of options. He didn't see how else this would ever stop. And that's how things usually work. They are difficult. The way forward isn't clear even when they are God things. We face adversity and challenge. We struggle and we look for the best path forward. Even when God is with us and we're doing God's good work, things are hard. They don't just fall into place. We need to work at them, often for a long time. Our world loves a good David and Goliath story. But even the stories that we think of are about long, hard battles, not an effortless victory. Maybe you've heard the story about Robert Kearns, the man who invented electronic variably intermittent windshield wipers and had his idea and patent stolen by major car manufacturers. His David and Goliath battle was a court battle between one man and Ford, a giant multinational corporation with a team of high-powered lawyers. Or another legal battle, which was also turned into a movie, about Percy Schmeiser, a farmer in Saskatchewan who battled the giant Monsanto over genetically modified canola crops in his field. Another long, drawn-out battle where you root for the little guy against the bullying giant. But there are also actual battles that we can think of as David and Goliath battles. Maybe the 300 Spartans holding off the army of 300,000 Persians led by Xerxes, which is another movie. Or even the Allies against the Axis powers in World War II. You root for the little guy against the giant and believe that right will prevail over might. The good guys win, but only after lots of effort. We like these stories because the good guy wins. We like the good guy because that's my side. I'm one of the good guys. We identify with David. always. We also battle adversaries that are looming figures. The stakes are high and we win. We prevail, and God is on our side. And God is with us too in the battles that are still being waged in our lives. But are we really always David? A lot of the stories I find particularly engaging work because they get me to root for the hero and then have to stop and wonder if the hero is actually the good guy at all. Are we Goliath sometimes? Are we the bad guys? Excuse me. Perhaps we're not Goliath, but maybe we're more Saul, letting others fight the battles without really thinking they'll be able to pull it off, and then reaping the benefits ourselves if they do. More often than not, we're more like David's brothers, not really involved, but waiting for deliverance from somewhere else, and hoping that we're on the right side, that history will prove we are on the right side. Our battles, even the David and Goliath battles, usually are long, hard fights, but they're not usually physical. We do have to struggle, and we face hardships and make mistakes on the way, but we prevail and hope to find God on our side, and hope that we are actually fighting for something that many of us can believe in and fight for. Not against people, but against systems and ideas and practices that harm people. It is in these battles that we see how God is for people, all people. And that is the side that we're on. That's the side we should be on. And when you have God backing you, even an impossible task becomes achievable.